As the world mourns Pope Francis, history's most secretive transfer of power begins. White smoke, the path to a new pope, guides you through this momentous transition. We explain exactly what happens next, leading to the dramatic conclave vote. Learn how each ritual unfolds, what each tradition means, and why these ancient ceremonies still matter today. Follow along as the throne of St. Peter stands empty and a new chapter in church history begins. White Smoke, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you know what a group of flamingos is called? That's just one of thousands of facts you'll discover on 5 daily trivia questions. Hi, I'm Mark Ellison. Join me every weekday for 5 mind-expanding questions about everything from ancient history to modern technology. Perfect for impressing friends or dominating your next pub quiz. 5 daily trivia questions. And the answer, a group of flamingos, is called a flamboyance. 5 daily trivia questions.
Caloroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac. I read ahead. I know what the first story is. That's why I'm laughing. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. A British woman had applied for a job back in 1976. She wanted to be a motorcycle stunt rider. Well, Tizzy told the BBC, "I always wondered why I never heard back about the job, and now I know why." The letter recently arrived back in her mailbox with a note at the top saying, "Late delivery by the post office, found behind a drawer, only about 50 years late." I'll add the word, oops. Tizzy said, "How they found me when I've moved house 50-odd times and even moved countries 4 or 5 times is a mystery. It means so much to me to get it back all this time later. I remember very clearly sitting in my flat in London typing the letter. Every day I looked for my post, but there was nothing there, and I was so disappointed because I really, really wanted to be a stunt rider on a motorcycle." She's now 70. 50 years went by here. 50. Despite not getting that job, she went on to become a snake handler, an aerobatic pilot, and a flying instructor. The Royal Mail said, "Yeah, we don't know what happened. It was probably found somewhere recently and put back in the mail." Congratulations to a goat. He ran 3 miles of a local half marathon. Joshua, the 10-year-old goat, got excited when runners in the Conception Bay South Trailway Trek Half Marathon ran past Joshua the goat's pumpkin patch. The details are what make these stories awesome. All right, so there's the 10-year-old goat. He's living there in his pumpkin patch, and a bunch of half marathoners run by. What happened, John? Well, he broke free from his tether, and he joined in the race. Taylor the human, said Joshua the goat, ran about 3 miles. You know how Taylor found out about it? Facebook. People were posting photos of a goat running in a half marathon, and Taylor was like, "Hey!" Taylor caught up to Joshua the goat and loaded him into the car. Wait, how slow is Joshua the goat, or how fast is Taylor? Taylor found out the goat was pretty popular and drove Taylor to a spot about 800 feet from the finish line so the goat could complete the race. Now, hey, I've run half marathons. I don't care if you're a goat. You got to run all 13.1. I'm not giving you credit here for 3 miles and then a ride to the finish line. That's not how these races work. Town officials said, "Join us and congratulations, Joshua, on his first ever race. You run the full 13, Joshua, then we'll talk." Got another Guinness World Record for you. What's this one, John? It's the world record for pulling a pair of cars 32 miles in 24 hours. Josh and James are brothers. They used to have the record back in 2021 when they pulled cars side by side for distance of 22.18 miles. James said what made our record different and the heart behind it, it wasn't about being the best, it was about being the best together, showing a sense of brotherhood and solidarity over self. Self would have said, "I want to be the best no matter what," but the way we did it together, that was our record. In Kansas City, the National World War I Museum and Memorial opened a 100-year-old time capsule. This one contained items including newspapers and a letter from President Coolidge. Time capsule was buried inside the museum's Liberty Memorial Tower in 1924 with instructions to open it in 2024, which must have seemed like the far-off, distant science fiction future, right? Look at us. Here we are. Now, part of the problem was, time capsules are buried. There were 18 inches of limestone and concrete. Officials say the presence of nitrate film in the container was another complication because nitrate is known to be highly flammable. All right, so they got it out. They opened it up. There was a copy of the Constitution, newspapers, a Bible, and a copy of the U.S. Declaration of War from April 1917. Also some letters, including one from Coolidge and several Allied commanders who had attended the Liberty Memorial's 1921 groundbreaking ceremony. There were also some signatures from people the officials couldn't identify. They are believed to be members of the team who assembled the time capsule. White smoke. The path to a new pope explores humanity's most elaborate and secretive transfer of power, a process now unfolding following the death of Pope Francis. This series reveals the hidden rituals, ancient traditions, and behind-the-scenes drama of papal transition. As the Catholic world enters this solemn period of mourning and anticipation, join us in witnessing how the Church has perfected this sacred process over 2,000 years, and what happens in these crucial days when the throne of St. Peter stands empty. White Smoke brings listeners inside the conclave that will determine who will succeed Pope Francis and lead the Church into its next chapter. White Smoke, wherever you get your podcasts.
You can get this podcast completely ad-free right now. If you're on Apple, just click the banner that says Uninterrupted Listening, and you'll get your first month free. If you use Spotify or other podcast players, go to caloroga.com/plus. It's just $5 a month, and you'll get access to over 20 premium shows with no interruptions. Binge listen to new series like the political thriller Acting President, Signal Lost, where military secrets land on the wrong phone, and Pager Protocol, the thriller about exploding pagers in the wrong hands. Plus, enjoy daily shows like Palace Intrigue about the royal family, daily comedy news, and 5 daily trivia questions to test your knowledge, and White Smoke, taking you behind the scenes at what's happening right now at the Vatican. You also get all our hot shows like 5 good news stories. Enjoy your favorite content without any ad breaks. Remember, Apple users click the Uninterrupted Listening banner for your free first month, and everyone else head to caloroga.com/plus. Get ad-free listening today.
All right, your boss wants to know why you were late. Here's what you tell them. There was a fur seal on the train tracks. Well, it'll help if you work in New Zealand, where this actually happened. The Department of Conservation said on social media commuter trains were delayed when the fur seal was spotted in the middle of the tracks in the suburbs of Wellington. The seal isn't an unusual sight around Wellington. However, it was quite skinny and didn't seem fazed by its predicament, which could indicate signs of fatigue. The Department of Conservation said the seal didn't need to catch the train in the end, as DOC rangers gave it a ride to the south coast where it was safely released away from people and dogs. And those are your 5 good news stories for today. Don't forget, we've got a bunch of shows on the network, including 5 Minutes of Gratitude. If you want to start your morning with some mindfulness, Olivia's got you hooked up Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And you can get that show and this one and a bunch of others on the network commercial-free. If you're on Apple Podcasts, click that banner where it says Uninterrupted Listening, and you'll find out how that works. Short version is $5 a month. Commercials go away. 30-day free trial. If you're not on Apple Podcasts, there's a link in the show notes that'll tell you how you can do it on other apps like Spotify or whatever you're doing on your Android there. You have an awesome day.